Hi, everyone. It's Brian Wolf, and today we're talking with Dr. Salameh from Signature Smile. You know, dental implants. A lot of people have questions about them, because they think they're either super expensive or they think that they may not be a candidate, and they're actually a really great solution. But again, people have questions. So, Dr. Salameh, can you tell us a little bit more about dental implants and what goes along with them?
Absolutely, Brian. Dental implants, there was a huge improvement in dentistry in general in the last 20 years and based on dental implants. And the reason why, for the last 100 years, always we thought about saving teeth and trying to keep them. And with the last advancements in health and all of that, and people are living longer, we're getting to the point where the teeth cannot take it anymore. And dental implants help us to get as close as God's work. Nothing like God's work, but we, that's kind of one of the tools that we have at these days, that we can create what God gave us, or recreate the experience to feel like just like as natural teeth as possible. Mm-hmm. My goal today is to go through what are they, and to answer the questions, or to give you the questions and secrets that you have to ask before you're really moving forward with these. Especially if you have dental disasters, and that terms means that you got to the point it's just issue after issue and after issue, and you're sick and tired of the patchwork. You're getting to the point where you feel like you're putting a lot of money, time, and it's not working, and you can't eat, or you have dentures and you feel like there is no hope. You go eat a steak, you have to cut it to 100 pieces.
Right.
You can't chew through an apple or bite an apple. It just you had the goo all the time. You watch these video on YouTube where people are losing their dentures, and you're scared of that, to happen to you.
Right.
So we'll discuss that, and hoping that by the end of this you'll have all of these answers and what to do next.
Fantastic. Well, there are, after doing some research, there are really 9 critical questions that really need to be addressed before committing to dental implants, because they are a huge commitment. It's a great commitment when you're done, but it is a huge commitment. So, if you don't mind, let's take these point by point, if that's okay.
Yeah, before we jump to that, which I like to tell you, because I'll get a little bit more passionate about this for a simple reason. I'll share to you. I graduated in 2005. 2007, I'm originally from Bethlehem, from the Holy Land, and my grandma was, she was 87 years old. Mm-hmm. And that's really what, got me interested in this topic is, one time, she's a completely healthy woman. She doesn't depend on anybody. She's complete mental, sharpness, all good. She still works at the farm. She's good. She has chicken all around, and she travels. So we were crossing the borders to a different country, to Jordan. And I was actually with her personally, and we crossed the border. And she's very secure. I actually didn't know that she had dentures till actually after I graduated from dental school.
Wow.
That's how secure she is, and that's how secure any woman is towards having, dentures.
Sure.
We crossed the borders, and then she looked at me, and I knew something major happened. She said, Omar, before we crossed the border, I put my dentures in a napkin, and after a few minutes I thought they are just dirty napkins, and I throw them in the trash.
No.
And I knew at that point, from being a dentist, that's the most common way, by the way, people losing their dentures. But I knew at that point, because she had her dentures for 40 years.
Oh.
So she lost her teeth at around age 45, 46. I knew we're in major trouble.
Yeah.
Because losing your teeth for that long time, that leaves you with really no bone in your jaw.
Yeah.
These dentures were functioning just because she was used to them for 40 years.
Yeah.
At that point, 87, we are 3 dentists in the family, 4 actually, because my sister-in-law is also a dentist. My brother, my sister, we couldn't do anything for my grandma.
Oh.
We couldn't place implants because she needed major bone grafting and all of that.
Yeah.
And with that, at age 87, we really don't want to do that.
Right.
We couldn't make new dentures because they would never fit. Because the only reason why the old denture was fitting, it was just her muscles and cheeks and tongue was used to them for 40 years. And you will never be able to create that.
Yeah.
We made a new ones, but she never. And the painful part of that is for another 10 years. She died at 97, 2015.
Yeah.
She had to go out with no teeth. She had to eat and gum her food. And we were just sitting there watching her. That was very painful for me and for the whole family. And since then, we committed to it, like, we had to think long term. If my grandma had implants,
Yeah.
When she was 60,
Right.
and she lost her dentures at 87, it's no problem. Next day you'll get a new set of dentures and you're good to go.
Yeah.
Because it saves your bone. It's a lot of benefits. That's why I get very passionate about this.
Right.
So I just wanted to share this quickly, and then we can go through the questions and all of that before committing to the dental implant. Does that make sense?
No, absolutely. That's a great story, and actually, it's probably something that somebody that's listening to this call may be actually on the border of.
Yeah, and the problem, Brian, what I see is I have patients, they are 55, and they come and like, I'm too old for this. And I was like, the first question that I asked them, because I keep my grandma in my head about this question, is like, when are you planning to die? And because everybody's like, just give me dentures.
Yeah.
And I asked them, and they were like, oh, wait, what is that? Where did that come from? But I'll be honest with you, that's important.
It is.
Because if you're planning to die at 60, I'm good. I give you dentures, I'm good.
Yeah.
But if you're planning to die at 90,
yeah.
if you want your teeth to be in your mouth when you go to bed and they don't sleep next to you, if you want to be able to enjoy food, and usually after 60, 65, we're really doing social, we're just social events and
Sure.
eating. And, so teeth gets very important at that point.
Yeah.
And that's what I asked, the question. And dental implants is all about the long-term value more than just a quick fix right now.
Right. And that's fantastic, because, again, people that will be listening to this particular call, this is a situation that, as I said, some of them may be on the cusp of right now, and they may have to make that decision now, and they need to understand, the long-term ramifications, but also more overly the long-term benefits.
Absolutely.
Socially, eating, the whole 9 yards. I mean, that's what we're looking at here, is really the long-term benefits.
Yeah, absolutely. And going back to the 9 questions, there is a big investment in time, there is a big investment in money, and in health, and that's why it's critical to ask these questions and go through them and understanding them, because unfortunately that knowledge is not out there, and most of our patients, or 99% of our patients who show up, they don't get educated on that.
Right.
And they don't understand their options. So these questions, that's why it's extremely important to write them down if you have a pen right now, and make sure you check them as a checklist every time you go to the dentist and ask them about dental implants.
Absolutely.
And we're mainly talking about major dental implant issues, not like one, two. We're talking about major, like you're building a new house in your teeth for another 30, 40 years.
Right. And again, that's a great way to look at it, because that's exactly what you're doing. You're building a new home, and again, it's so many things will be affected by it. So let's run these down right now. The first one is it a one-size-fits-all kind of solution, or what are the options? Is it only one choice, or?
That's a very important question, because when it comes to health, think about it as you go to, you have a heart issue and you go to cardiologists who just do one procedure, and every time you go there, you know exactly what you're doing before going there. So you get a bypass. Whether you need it or not, you're getting a bypass. So that's extremely important understanding that when we're dealing with health, it has to be more customized.
Okay.
Nobody of us will go to a place where the physician just do bypasses, regardless of the treatment. You show up, whether you needed a transplant or you needed just a quick fix, maybe some medicine. No, you're getting a bypass. So unfortunately, there is a lot of miscommunication in this field, and unfortunately, I have to say that there is places like that who just say, hey, you only had one clear choice, and you're only getting this. Whether I go myself or you go, I had perfect teeth, they will give me that. I take all my teeth out, do this, and done. So no, it's not all fits all. I cannot treat a 70-year-old lady with, like a guy who's huge with big facial muscles, and it's not the same. The number of implants not the same.
Right.
The end product is to give you a good smile and to give you a good bite. That's in common, but the procedure and how it's done and how we're handling it, absolutely. There is multiple options, and not just that. It's also, and we'll come to that later. So there is options like fixed teeth. There's options like snap-on dentures, or what we call them signature fit dentures, and there is really at least 3-4 options over there, and that would take more detail. So there's actually a good link. You can go to Implants 911. Implants, there is an S at the end, 911.com, and if you put your information, we'll send you a package, and that actually would go through the details in details. This is not a question, but be careful, of a place of only like that's the one fit for you. No, there has to be multiple choices.
No, and that's a great thing actually, because if you do go to one place and they're like a one-trick pony, if you will, that could end up with some massive issues.
It's not like everybody's getting Big Mac, Everybody's getting Big Mac. I mean, it's like, oh, it works for, but it's not.
Yes, we don't have McTeeth.
Yeah, exactly. There we go. I like that.
All right. So the other one is that I was looking at, and this one actually was really important. Start with the end in mind. So, talking about hygiene and maintenance, the long-term maintenance, if you will, of the implants. Can you address that a little bit?
Yeah, and it's interesting you say that because, anything we do in life should start with an end in mind. And our end in mind when we are thinking about implants, you have to be thinking 25-year periods. You cannot think of in and out fix and cutting corners because you want to do something. As I said, it's a big investment, time and money and all that and health. You had to make sure that everything goes for a long time and being kept for a long time. So you had to ask questions about what happened after I'm done. Because I see a lot of issues that people go to places and they get their teeth done. They spend $25,000, $50,000 even. And once they are done, there is no hygienist who's trained to do that, how to take care of the teeth. It's just like buying a brand new car from a place who cannot support your oil change. I mean, who's going to deal with the car if somebody is telling you that, hey, implants, you don't need maintenance, that's a big problem. So you have to ask what's going to happen after I'm done.
Yeah.
There has to be maintenance. How are we going to maintain this? I mean, we're humans. God's work did fail. The reason why you're here because God's work did fail because we did not maintain it at one point very well.
Right.
Do you think human, work will not fail? So the idea is you have to ask that place, are they very well equipped? Are the hygienists and the doctors are very equipped to, after the fact of the procedure, not just done with the procedure, kick you out, say, hey, see you, I'm ready for the second portion. That's crucial.
Yeah, some people would probably think, because, I got a dental implant, I'm done, yay, life's good. They don't realize that just like regular teeth, they need checkups, they need regular maintenance, just like anything else.
Absolutely. I mean, implants are more forgiving than teeth, and that's what makes people a little bit more, but we deal with a lot of time of failed implants because not a proper maintenance, and these are nightmares.
Yeah, that's got to be horrible.
So asking the maintenance program after the fact is extremely important question. Critical question that most patients doesn't even know they have to ask a question.
Yeah, no, I would agree because I would think okay, I got dental implants, I'm done, yay.
Yeah,
that's not exactly the way it rolls. Now everyone nowadays has this microwave mindset. Now.
Yeah,
it's like set it to 2 minutes and ding, teeth.
Yeah.
Can they be done overnight?
So this is probably the yes and no. Okay. And the biggest lie in the world is they can be done in the overnight. And if there is really, and to be honest with you, in dentistry, nothing been done. It took God 10 years to get us teeth. I mean, we were born at age 0 and we got the teeth. It took 12 years to get the full set of teeth.
Right.
So they could be done overnight on the purpose of you walk in, you go to sleep, you wake up, implants are in, teeth are out, implants are in, and you have temporary teeth and that's fixated. But the final product, no.
Okay.
You have to heal, but you'll have fixed teeth. You'll be able to smile with them. You'll be able to chew a little bit with them. So yes, they could be done overnight, but don't get sold on something like, it's going to be done everything overnight. That doesn't exist. And most people will be surprised, like, I need to come back after a few months. Yes, it's a process.
Yeah.
It takes, it's overnight. We do it all the time. So people walk in, leave out. It takes a few weeks to prep for that day, but once you walk in, you leave with the implants. It used to be in the old days, you take the teeth out with for 6 months of healing, put the implant with for 6 months of healing for the teeth. So it takes 18 months.
Right.
That was pushed now to, yes, we can take everything out, put implants in, and give you temporary looking teeth, good looking teeth, but these are temporary.
Right.
Don't mix up that. And so far, nobody in the United States, nobody does them overnight as a finished product. It's 6 months. So just be careful with that and what you're really, and how to ask about the time limit. What is my time limit over that?
Again, that's great stuff because, again, like I said, everyone has that microwave mindset.
Yeah.
And they think, okay, well, it'll just be.
I want it now.
Yeah.
I want it to serve for 25
They're
years
my
as well.
teeth, and I want them now.
Yeah, and the question is, you're building a house.
Yeah.
Take your time.
Right.
So it serves you for a long time.
Because you don't want to leak your roof.
Yeah.
Nobody wants to leak your roof. Speaking of technology, though, because we were talking about the technology behind the teeth.
Yeah.
There's a couple of different versions that I've seen. There's the guided versus non-guided. Guided versus non-guided. And there's virtual planning.
Yeah.
Can you explain that a little bit? Because I don't understand that.
Yeah. So 20, 30 years ago, implants were what we call free-handed. That means we didn't know much of, we didn't have much technology. And dentists were great. They were doing pretty good work as much as they can.
Mm-hmm.
Now with all of this technology, the very nice thing is we can actually plan everything to minimize mistakes, basically, even before we jump into the mouth. So let's take an example. I'll take you, Brian, if I'm doing this for you, right?
Okay.
Show up. We actually do certain records, and we spend at least 2 weeks of planning, where we do virtual planning. We take 3D imaging, CT scan, and even virtual smile design for your final look. And we put everything together, and then we build the plan. Just like when you build a house, you go to an architect, and they have a plan together. They just don't go start building the house.
Right.
Seriously. And then we train, like you print all of that even 3D, and then you transfer it. That actually is extremely important because it lowered the risk of, it could be still done without all of that, but the risk and the standard of care at this point in the U.S.,
right,
is actually to plan it that way.
That's fantastic.
So you're minimizing the risks, failures, and you know what you're going through before you even put the patient to sleep and start the procedure.
Well, and that's what I wanted to talk about. Some people are afraid that there could be an opportunity for failure or something along those lines. Now when you look at the implants, should it be like under a one roof approach? Or tell me a little bit more about how, when you look at a place to go, how that works, with team training and everything else.
So one of the things about the implants is, even as that's kind of how things evolved. Is you had to go to multiple places, and somebody had to place the implant, somebody had to get the tooth, and the patient usually gets lost in between. And not just that. The problem with that too is the money also gets more and more. You get surprises.
Yeah.
I personally, a few years ago, when I had my first child, and it's just the bills can't stop coming till today. I mean, why the heck you don't tell me it's going to cost me that much for delivering a baby and be done with that? But so it's extremely important to understand 2 points. Actually, this is 2 points in one. Is you had anywhere you're getting dental implants, you try to get them under one roof. You need the whole team to be trained to deal with them, the surgery expert and the doctor who finished the smile expert. Under extreme circumstances, you may need it in multiple locations, but that's not the general. 90% of patients should be done under one roof. The second, you have to approach it as all-inclusive because you're still working with a human body, and surprises could happen.
Yeah.
So you wanted to have an all-inclusive approach where the one team under one roof and one price.
Yeah.
What if you needed an extra bone graft, and I come back to you and say, "Well, you need another $2,000." Like, oh man, I can't. What are you gonna? You would be lost over there. That's why having that ahead of time and having all that peace of mind, and you're not showing up,
right?
With any surprises. That's extremely important.
Yeah, and that takes it right back again to when you were talking about that, the guided versus non-guided. You have an entire team trained in one spot. Absolutely. To get it all done. And actually, I would prefer that because, well, frankly, you don't want to go running all over creation to get your teeth done.
Absolutely.
So that's excellent. Now, people, as you know, nowadays want a guarantee on everything. They say, well, if it's not, am I going to be absolutely happy, et cetera, et cetera. Can you talk to me, address that need for a guarantee, if you will?
Yeah. So, and that's also interesting. I personally believe that for health, I go get my heart, have a surgery on it. I don't tell my doctor, hey, my surgeon, I need a 7-year warranty on the surgery. Nobody asks that question. And When it comes to teeth, it should be dealt that way.
Okay.
But I personally believe, though, still, although I keeping that mindset, is when people come to you and they need help, you have to provide certain set of guarantee.
Sure.
People put in time, and I keep coming back because this is a major investment. I mean, what is the guarantee that it will work?
Yeah.
And I'm putting my life savings on that, or anything, or for the coming 25 years. So what is the guarantee? So it's understanding that you're working with health, and understanding that there has to be warranty, and understanding that the maintenance, going back to question number 2, is extremely important.
Yeah.
So I would say if somebody say, you have a lifetime warranty, I'll be careful with that. I personally will be careful with that. I mean, as I say, I mean, anytime you get a lifetime warranty in anything in this life, you know that you're getting, screwed or sold on something there's something hidden in there. I do think what we do personally, we do 7-year warranty if you show up for your maintenance appointments.
Okay.
I mean, you can't buy a brand new car.
Right.
I compare it to cars because everybody speaks cars. It's easy to understand. And you can't buy a brand new car and you have 5 years or 100,000 miles, right?
Yeah.
And you don't do oil change and you bring it back to the dealership. Say, hey guys, it's not working. And they're like, are you friggin' didn't do the oil change? So there had to be some type of warranty. Personally, at Signature Smile, for example, we do 7-year warranty, no question asked, as far as you showed up. And you don't need to come to us. You can get the clinic somewhere else who really know what they're doing.
Okay.
And we're good with that.
Yeah.
We have a lot of patients who, get the work done here. They go Florida for a whole year and come back. As far as they showing up every 6 months, getting cleaning, and making sure everything is good, because you can avoid major issues. But the idea, hey, you're all done, and once you leave from here, you don't need to be seen again, and it's a lifetime warranty. It just doesn't make sense.
It doesn't make sense.
Yeah, and just be careful on that. Unfortunately.
Yeah, that would be terrible. Now,
so be detailed about the guarantee and what's going to happen after that, and the cost after that. These are important questions.
Well, speaking of cost, a couple of key points here, and again, this is money, and money is a huge issue for a lot of people. How much does it really costs, for dental implants, and how can, let's say I don't have all the money up front, is there finance options? Does insurance cover it? I mean, there's a multitude of questions there, and I realize that, but how can you address that a little bit for us?
Sure, absolutely. Do you mind if I play this with you, Brian?
Please do.
How old are you?
51.
51. Okay, sorry, I forced you to say your age over here, but
thanks.
and when are you planning to die?
Hopefully at least 100.
100. Okay, good. That's the coming. My plan myself is 85. So, and the question, and I know you have great teeth, but if we say you have bad teeth and you're ready to go, we're now talking about 49 years.
Yeah.
To go. How are you gonna eat? Every time it's affecting you morning, evening.
Yeah.
And how you're going to speak and how you're going to smile for another 49 years.
Good point.
Okay? So understanding that is extremely important, even if it's just 25 years. I mean, that's a lot.
Yeah,
and
it
you
is.
buy a brand new car these days, and after 5 years, it's bad. I mean, that's how bad, unfortunately. I mean, you spend a lot of money on that.
Yeah.
So that's number one, to understand that this is a long-term fix.
Yeah.
And there is really how much money you're willing to spend just to take a good steak bite when you take when you take your anniversary, you take your wife, you take your partner to a place, or even just for yourself, for your own confidence when you're doing business. That's a big question.
Yeah.
So still, it's an investment, and we understand that.
Right.
So it differs from person to person, and that's why it's crucial to understand there is options.
Okay. So
there is options that can go from $10,000, for example, to $50,000. And you really have, that's why we say it's not all size,
one
fits all.
Yeah.
There is 60. And that means that you'd walk in, you get out, and, as we said, with fixed teeth, you never take them out. And that's good. And that's a major investment over there. And we had to customize it. We said we do virtual surgery. We had to make sure that, so it's more customized. But that's the average. The good about that, you say, Doc, you know what? I don't have $25,000.
Right.
And that's what you need to understand. Okay, we can have other options. If you can't eat Big Mac, we can get you. There is other options. You can plan things. You can stage things.
Sure.
And that needs to be understood because if you go online or anything, it's all one thing. Like either this or done. Either it's a bypass or done.
Yeah.
So there is signature fit dentures, which is almost half price of the fixed teeth. And
Okay.
they will work as good as you can eat. They will look extremely nice, and you have like no issue with that. And it's half price. It's removable at the end of the day. So you have to know your options. Some people will do upper, dentures and lower. There's a combination. So you can customize the plan to fit your budget. That's number one.
Okay.
While if you're stuck with one option, there's really no more customization.
Exactly.
You
Yeah.
had to, mold. They had to mold you to your option, which is not really a good option for you as a health, as addressing health problems.
Right. Right.
And the reason why that is going even back to the warranty in this conversation, is really what you want. So, for example, when we are talking about warranty and all of that, are you just looking for a smile? Are you just looking for function? And based on what you want, that will affect the price. I mean, if you just want to bite into an apple, that's important to understand. If you're okay eating a steak but not biting an apple, so it had to be customized on your needs, desires, and wants.
Right.
And that's the point of the price. But generally speaking, if you want, the good news though, you have to realize that at one point you will need to stop spending money on non-savable teeth.
Yeah.
So here's what I see all the time, Brian. I see people age 51, let's say 55 usually, that's a story that we see, and they're ready to retire.
Okay.
Go as like, okay, I had this money, I want to fix my teeth. They go spend $10,000 fixing their teeth.
Right.
And what happened next, they come to us at 63 years old. And that's 8 years. That's pretty good.
Yeah.
But the teeth are completely bad. And now they have another investment to put on.
Oh yeah.
So
yeah.
before you jump into treatments and fixing issues
Yeah.
with the cause, the question is, Doc, will this going to serve me 25 years?
Yeah.
Because maybe you just done it at age 55 and done, instead of putting, you have to come to a question, how long is going to serve me?
So you don't want to put good money into a bad situation.
Exactly. And that's what we're dentists, unfortunately, trained to saving teeth.
Yeah.
Okay, which is good.
Yeah.
That's pretty good till age, 55 plus or something. You have to ask the question, is it worth it or not?
Right.
If it's not serving you for a long time, if you're putting a lot of money trying to keep them for another few years, especially if you're planning to live past 90 or 85,
Yeah.
you have to invest in a bigger, longer-term investment.
Yeah. And that that actually brings us to actually question 8 and 9. We kind of combine those here because what we were talking about. It's should you look at like an all-inclusive approach, based on finances and longevity and lifetime, as far as can implants fail? Yeah. Some people have said, "Oh my gosh, they're terrible," blah blah blah. And you'll hear these things, but tell us from a professional standpoint about how that all works.
So here is what we do. So first, on the procedure, let's say you got the implants, Brian, and before we graduate you from the implant, we test them, and how we actually do that, and that's even in the warranty, it should be everywhere, is you do smile design. You have to approve the smile before you even, you bring your spouse and make sure you warranty the smile. That's exactly what you want to look like.
Bringing the spouse is very important.
Yeah, absolutely. And what we've been doing recently as well is a steak challenge. We actually send our patient to a steakhouse. We pay for that, and they had to eat. And you can YouTube actually a couple of great videos, and they video themselves until they can eat the steak. We're not done. So now we know that we tested the implants. You're good. Patient is happy. That's graduation. Now the question is, will these implants fail? If you maintain them very well, if you follow every 6 months, with the hygienist and the doctor's checking on them, if anything going to happen, it's usually happen within the first 5 years.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what you needed. That's why I said at the beginning you needed kind of a warranty of 7 years. If you pass the first 7 years and you're pretty good, usually if there is, manufacturer's kind of quality, the implant had an issue manufacturer or something happened. So that's why you needed some buffer. You cannot say, oh, no warranty. No, you need at least maybe 7 years warranty and following, maintenance. And then after that, if you survive the first 7 years, you're probably going to go for another 25 years if you just maintain your 6 month visits.
So in other words, if we come to you for implants, we can get a free steak and a graduation gown.
Good, yes, kind of, yes.
That's fantastic. Where do I sign up?
and so implants still could fail.
Yeah.
And I want to say that. What's the failure rate? It's pretty low, though. We know that. We know that their success rate is 95%.
Right.
But the problem is when they fail, it's pretty expensive, so you need to be ready for that.
Right.
I mean, that's why you need the warranty. That's why you need the all-inclusive, you know. And if somebody's saying, we never had a failed implant, just don't do the implants there.
Gotcha.
Because everybody had his own failed implant.
Now, there was another question that came up.
Yeah. Are you done with the 9 questions? Or no?
Yeah.
Okay. This is the bonus?
This is the bonus round. Ding,
okay.
ding, 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 ding. So, okay. Sedation.
Yeah.
And will you be put to sleep with implants?
When we're talking about that's a good question. When we're talking about major building a house, like building a full mouth, and I don't. It's either me or you should be asleep. You know, so it's either it has to be the patient to be asleep, not the dentist.
I hope so.
Yeah, but I don't think that. I don't even imagine doing a major work like that.
Okay.
And a patient is awake. Minimal movement from the patient could affect that. So sedation is a must. And if we go back to why the patient at age 55 ended up at that position, usually they are scared of the dentist.
Yeah.
And usually they are not willing to go because they don't want to go through the pain and all that. So it's a must. And that's what we said, all-inclusive, for example. That includes sedation. So that's all in. And that's important because you really don't want to be nickel and dime at this, and you really need to be address all of your emotions. I'm scared, yes. It's checklist, yes. I'm going to be asleep, absolutely. I'm going to get function, that's good. So that is extremely important because most of the patients who end up with non-ending dental problems, they are, to start with, they are scared of the dentist.
That sells it all right there. So absolutely. Well, thank you so much for being here today, and thank you so much for addressing all this with us right now.
Thank you, Brian. And as I said briefly, if you need more information, because education and knowledge is power, go to implants911.com.
Okay.
And you can download some extra reports about implants and more details, and it's good to read before and educate yourself before actually you take this major step.
Absolutely.
Okay?
Absolutely. Thank you so much. And if you need to get out there, again, to Implants911, was it Dental Implants 911?
No, implants.
Okay.
911.com.
Implants911.com, and that's where you need to go and get the information you need. So, stick around. We'll be back with more questions later on.
All right, perfect. Thank you.